well, you just need to stop. And I'm going to tell you a little bit later on now why you all need to stop getting me too G'd up, too excited for this running, because I am. You know, reactions are the best part of this YouTube game, and that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to maintain our cool. We went across all the different permutations yesterday of how Leeds could finish, how it could be really negative for Leeds in these last 4 games, but because of the advantage we've given ourselves, we can still quite respectively get up and just almost stumble over the line. But I wanted to come on here and talk about Bamford. I wanted to talk about Evan Ferguson, Tammy Abraham. And what have all these got in common? Well, you're hearing now Leeds United outlets and sources, if you want to call them that, and just the general media talking about Leeds' next steps. If we were to get the Premier League, 56,000 seater stadium, green button pressed. Then on top of that, you've got Leeds linked with Evan Ferguson already. Apparently when we go up, there's going to be movement on him or Tammy Abraham. I'm seeing all of it in the past week, and I'm thinking, are we getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here? Look, we can predict. Look, we can get excited. But are we going a bit too far talking about Premier League transfers? Potentially. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Some really good news as well today when it comes to Kieran Brown of Oxford, who's been their player of the season by a country mile. He's going to be out for the Leeds United game, which Gary Rowett is absolutely wounded with, apparently. So that's good news. Good news for Leeds, a big advantage as we go down to Oxford, where Sheffield United haven't won, we know that, and Burnley haven't won as well. So it's going to be a trickier game than people think. But I'm just almost like at that point now, whereas I feel Sheffield United have stumbled that much, it's given Leeds this huge advantage. And Patrick Bamford is another name that's on the airwaves today, and he's got a final year in his contract. He's obviously on astronomical wages, and apparently the expectancy is that he's not going to be leaving Leeds United, even if we're to get to the Premier League, because who's going to pick Patrick Bamford up? Maybe the MLS, maybe, I don't know, Saudi. I'm not 100% sure, but it doesn't look like he's going to be moving on from Leeds United, which is that it's probably not a good thing, is it? It's probably not a good thing. But the reason I'm mentioning Bamford there is because we've got this striker chat, haven't we? Abraham, Evan Ferguson. You can imagine if Leeds were to go up, there'd be movement with Matteo Joseph. You'd expect Matteo to likely be loaned out to a Championship club or a Serie A club or a La Liga club. And then you'd have Leeds sort of left with Joel Peru. So I guess we'd have to move relatively quickly when it comes to actually getting a good striker or a good couple of strikers in before the start of next season. But it is funny when you see an Evan Ferguson and Tammy Abraham, and yeah, it's just all over the place at this moment in time. But how are you feeling, everybody, about the Oxford game? I'm seeing a lot of people in the comment section saying, let's be calm, take one game at a time, and that is it, because 4 games remain. We've got, I mean, it's been a horrendous period. 5 points in 16. Leeds look like they'd absolutely blown it. And obviously, if it wasn't for Sheffield United just imploding in 3 straight games, the picture would look very different right now. Obviously, Leeds have recovered, but Sheffield United's implosion with their advantage at that point has given Leeds obviously a huge boost. So there's a lot that right now it's kind of a little bit all over the place. We weren't enjoying it. It was chaos last week. We're thinking another year in the Championship because we don't want to be anywhere near those playoffs. But then you're kind of looking at it now and you're thinking Leeds have given themselves such an advantage, of which we should have had way earlier on, maybe with certain changes, certain personnel performing at a better level as well. But isn't it exciting again to be looking at the rumour mill, to be looking at the Premier League rumour mill if it were to happen? There's a lot of conversation already about the Blades being in the playoffs, and we will be nervous as Leeds United fans until the very last kick of the season. But the reality is, everybody, Leeds we could be up by Monday, and I just can't wrap my head around it. The dismay, the struggles that we've had in the last 6 to 8 weeks, and the Sheffield United implosion and the Leeds recovery has been staggering. And we've not been great in the last 2 games, but we've been better. There's been better performances. Bogle been back to just his absolute best and arguably player of the season. Players going out like Pascal, like Joe. like Dan James, and Leeds been able to recover because of the squad strength that we've got. This is why I've always said we've got the best squad in the division, because we can deal with 3 starters being out of this side and replace them with quality, like Alai Gruev, like Ethan Ampadu, and like William Yonto, with still more on the bench, Isaac Schmidt, at Bramazani, Joseph, etc. Leeds' squad has just been, it's unbelievable. I mean, the wages have been, the agent wages were put out, and Leeds fans are getting a lot of rubbish for that, or Leeds as a club. The second Schmier podcast is already out there saying that, you know, it's unbelievable Leeds aren't promoted already without, you know, with all these agent fees they're paying. Well, what they're not taking into consideration is a lot of those have been hangovers from the Premier League that we're still paying off, but context doesn't apply, does it, to certain networks? But listen, it's a huge week for me, so it's a massive week, and I have to say, I think if we beat Oxford, it's done, even if the Blades win, because I don't expect them to go to Burnley and win. I think it's going to be a step too far for them. It wouldn't surprise me if the Blades won 3 out of 4. But that's a real stretch, you know, that them winning 10 points out of 12, what a return, what an ending. And it wouldn't surprise me if Chris Wilder has galvanised them that much, that they're talking about that, and we see that. But I do wonder with Wilder, and we're going to talk about this on the second channel a little bit later on. Make sure you subscribe to the Conor McGilligan channel. We're doing a video specifically on that. But I do wonder if he's cracked a little bit too much and shown a little bit of, you know, too many gaps in his armour. Again, Chris Wilder, as the pressure got to him a little bit too much, and he's going to need, with a very, very young group at Sheffield United, who've not experienced this pressure before, he's going to need some sort of reaction, which he'd have been able to get out of his 18-19 lot. They've been together for a long time. But out of this group of players, it's going to be a bit of a task, you know. It's going to be a bit of a task. It's been a bit thrown together, that squad. A lot of them haven't been with Wilder for a big period of time as well, so, you know, they don't have the understanding and the cohesion of that 18-19 side when we saw resurgence at certain points. So a lot of us Leeds fans are giving them a hell of a lot of credit, saying it's going to be 3 wins in 4, maybe even 4 wins in 4. But I'll put that into context for you as well, guys. We could go down and we could lose at Oxford. Worst case scenario, we could beat Stoke, which I do think we'll do. We could draw against Bristol City, and we could draw against Plymouth, and we could still go up, you know. So that's kind of where we're at right now. It's the permutations are really in Leeds' favour, and that implosion that's happened with Sheffield United, I think it's just a one, unless there's a turnaround of which it would be unbelievable, incredible from both sides in terms of Sheffield United's form, and I think they'll win this. I think they'll win on Friday. There's not a guarantee that Leeds won't win, but I just think that's that difference, the games that we've both got coming up. Even if Leeds were to lose on Friday and they were to win, we'll be a little bit more nervous. But I just don't see them turning it around. I think they've got to win the last 4. Sheffield United, for me, which is that likely when they've lost 3 in 3? Maybe. We've seen it before with Wilder sides and the resurgence. But this group is going to be so interesting to see how they react. So Evan Ferguson, Tammy Abraham, Bamford talk, 56,000 seat stadium talk. We have to put that on hold, of course we do, because we've still got Oxford on Friday. Big boost with Kieran Brown been out for Leeds United. Another big boost for us. We've had this quite a few times, you know. Played QPR, we had Elias Share out. We played Portsmouth. They had 3 or 4 bodies out. We are getting the look of the draw a little bit when it comes to certain players being out for certain sides. So it was Lang, wasn't it, for Portsmouth, who was out, who scored against us earlier on, but he's one of their key players. So Leeds are kind of at a point right now where it feels like Lady Luck is on our side when it comes to, you know, availability. But Kieran Brown's massive, been out for them. So we have to just focus on that Oxford game. We can speak about the permutations and differences, but we also have to keep our feet on the ground. And as I say, as Sheffield United fans and Burnley fans and Leeds fans, we're all taking the mick out of each other behind closed doors when certain things happen. But, you know, in all reality, I think we're all very, very clued in on the goal, which is promotion, feet on the ground. And I think this Evan Ferguson, Patrick Bamford talk next season Tammy Abraham chat. It's Leeds fans are really engaging with it now. They're really engaging with it, and I think it's because there's an excitement looking at next year. But let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody, with regards to Leeds at this moment in time, the Oxford game, Sheffield United, transfers, all this sort of stuff. I know some of you will put in the comment section below and have been putting in the comment section below who you'd like next season regardless. But we will have a very special guest, should be on the channel tonight, so make sure you tune in for that one. It's been a pleasure, everybody. Like before you leave. See you in a bit.